This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Drive to deep center field. Going back, Hernandez at the track, right to the wall. Gone! Elvis Andrews!
And 29 other MLB clubs.
High drive, deep left field. Nino left the building.
Guerrero lifts one to left field and gone.
Ohtani, that was a moonshot out there in the right center.
Alonso defends his title, the 2021 Derby champion.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from OPS Plus to juiced balls to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to A's Cast Live. As let's just say this show is starting today with a huge sigh of relief. I wasn't worried. I was just, what happens if this vote goes sideways? Because everybody has been saying, don't worry about it. It's going to pass. It's going to be a slam dunk. And Howard Terminal, the project, will move on. And the removal of the port designation, however you want to put it, will be removed. And now we can start talking city council. Now we can start talking votes, binding votes. But if it didn't pass, it was see you later. Project over. Take your ball, go home. I don't know what the future of the organization is and where it'd be playing. So luckily, we did not have to get into that. We will get into A's baseball as they're going to be starting a 3-game set. It's a 4 games. Is it a 4-game set?
Yes, 4 games, tonight through Sunday. Blue Jays on Monday.
I messed up on my NBC hit because I think I said 3-game set. See, you were supposed to fact check it.
I don't remember hearing you say 4-game set.
Maybe I didn't say it then.
Or 3-game set, sorry. I don't remember what you said. I just remember you being excited about Adrian Martinez.
Does it not feel like Friday?
Kind of, yeah, because yesterday was a day game.
And day games are always Thursday.
Usually, yeah.
All right, Bill Moriarty is from Athletics Farm, is going to join us at 4:30. As we have said, the farm is bigger than ever for the Athletics. Dave Sims, longtime great broadcaster for the Mariners, will join us at 5 o'clock. Did Sims come out of the booth and start throwing haymakers down in Anaheim?
I don't think so. I think he's okay. I don't think he fractured his elbow like Archie Bradley did.
Didn't gouge any eyes out or anything?
Yeah, I didn't throw sunflower seeds.
Didn't go after Phil Nevin?
How many games is he suspended now still? 8, 7, something like that? He still suspended some games, though.
How many is it? When was the fight?
Sunday, so his first game would have Monday, so he probably has like 7 games left, 6.
Still one of the dumbest plays ever.
Yeah, but then the whole thing came out. Archie Bradley fractured his elbow.
Just trying to
jump over the rail,
trying to get over the rail. You know who did that? You know who hopped over a rail and hurt his knee was Aubrey Huff during a celebration.
There's been a lot of weird ones.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about the Huff one.
Whether it's a fight, celebration, for some reason, guys come running in from the bullpen, for a fight, and they hurt their hamstrings. It's just a joke. And we will have Mac Babbitt, the great Shooty Babbitt, at 5:30. Is Shooty in the bushes right now?
He didn't say, but I'm assuming, because he told me the other day it was a travel day.
Yeah, because he's not doing TV. That's Stu right now on NBC Sports California.
Speaking of that, Brody Brazil will be joining us in 6 minutes.
All right. Brody has been tracking this. I will be dead honest with you. These, how do I want to put this? During these very complicated times, being a show that we are all about honesty, we always have been, it's been something that I think has been our trademark that I really started with A's Talk. That's morphed somehow into A's Clubhouse, which is our post-game show. And what do we used to call the pregame show? The dugout show?
Correct. That was when we were still with the old station.
We had to switch names because we left the old station. So it's now A's Total Access, brought to you by
Chevron.
And then we created A's Cast Live and A's Cast. We've always been dead honest with you. That's what we do. That's why you come to us. You know you're going to get not spin. We don't spin stuff for the organization. The organization has always told us, do what you do. And we go, great. Honesty is the best policy. We haven't really covered ballpark talks because they're going to play out. It's so far above our pay grade. They're going to play out. We'll cover it once it plays out. We're not here to break news on it. We're not being dishonest. We're not avoiding it. It's just we do baseball. We're not going to do, we'll do votes after the votes. We'll do hearings after the hearings. But leading up, I'm not looking to get somebody from city council. I'm not looking to get this person, that person. It's just not what, and they've never told us what to do, to be, once again, being totally honest. Show when people ask about it. I've been around a lot of this, obviously, in my years around the Raiders and the Warriors and seeing transition, whether it was to San Francisco or to Las Vegas. So I've dealt with it a lot. But we're not going to, get into the vote and be bringing people on before the vote. We'll talk about it after it happens. And where do we go from here? We're still a long way to go. What is it? They have till 2025 to get something done, basically binding, but in writing, shovels in the ground by 2025, or the land goes back to the port?
I have it from the Chronicle. The BCDC approval gives the A's in the city until 2025 to enter into a binding agreement. If that doesn't happen, Howard Terminal will automatically revert back to a port priority use designation.
Now, my question is, let's just say the ballpark doesn't happen there. Was today's vote only about a ballpark? That they can't all of a sudden go, well, the ballpark didn't work, but we're doing condos. We're doing a shopping mall right on the wharf. I'm just throwing it out there. Kind of like how the A's gave the territorial rights to the Giants and then never got them back. And then they were stuck. So obviously the port is making sure they don't get stuck giving their land away. And if nothing happens with the A's, that someone goes, we got a great idea to put some homes here. I don't know why I'm asking you that question, because obviously there's no chance you have that answer.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see this one.
But I went to you kind of like you would be the guy that has that kind of information.
No, but a guy.
That's the kind of respect I have for your knowledge.
I appreciate that, but a guy in 2 minutes might have that answer.
I don't think he's going to have that.
I don't know. Well, our guest tomorrow, 4:05, might have that answer. That'd be our president, Dave Cavill.
That's his pay grade.
That's called a tease to tomorrow.
Yeah, Dave Cavill will be here tomorrow. I'm glad we're doing Cavill now after than before, because this was a slam dunk. Everybody knew it. What was the final vote tally?
23-2. In favor, obviously.
So that's since we're dealing with the port, would you call it a boat race?
Wow, well done. Yeah, I think that you could use that there.
That was bad. I admit it. Should I use that with Brody?
You can see what Brody has to say about it. I'm not sure. By the way, can you check to see if your computer's running on Ethernet there? It keeps saying that one of us isn't, and I'm concerned.
It's probably not me.
Oh, no, it says you are. It just keeps giving me the unstable connection, which is weird because we're both connected, and we're both using Ethernet, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, we're both not stable.
True. Oh, you mean on here? I think I meant.
Oh, you're talking about the internet.
Yeah.
By the way, did you know I'm excited about tonight's game?
Yeah, because please tell me you're talking about the Adrian Martinez hit you did, or are you talking about because Sky Bolt's back?
Oh, that's right. Read off all the We've got transactions.
I'll get to it quickly before Brody.
Okay.
The A's recalled right-hander Adrian Martinez, which he will start tonight, 1-0 with a 0 ERA, 5 1/3 scoreless versus Detroit. Selected infielder Vimael Machin and reinstated outfielder Sky Bolt from the 60-day injured list.
Sky Bolt's back.
So Sky Bolt's back. Jed Lowry, 10-day injured list, retroactive to June 27th with a strained left shoulder. Adam Mahler back to AAA. Adam Kolarek DFA'd and Christian Pache down to Las Vegas.
Oh, remember? Who was the guy? And I like Pache from a standpoint to where I think this kid is a good kid. He's got a great head on his shoulders. He's got the right attitude. I hope he is a great A for a long time. But who was calling for Pache to go back to AAA about a month and a half ago?
I mean, what he was hitting, what would you say, was he hitting 108 at one point?
At one point in June, he was hitting 108.
It
Who weeks ago? I mean, that's well over a month ago. Who was the guy around the A's going, this isn't working? Who was that guy?
That'd be you.
This guy.
Look,
You know he finished June?
not great.
He had a $120 in June.
Couple RBI though. Positive.
No, there's no positive about Pache in June. I mean, that's just a reality. We want to get him on because we know he's going to be going on tonight around 6:30, so we got to give him his time to prep. The great Brody Brazil is here with us before he does A's pregame live on NBC Sports California tonight, getting you ready for the Athletics and the Mariners. Brody, big vote today. How are you?
We're winging it tonight, Townie. Baseball talk a little bit, mostly ballpark talk. Isn't it crazy? In one of the worst A's months in Oakland history, right? 5 wins here in June. Today they just picked up one of the necessary wins, one of the biggest necessary wins in 50-plus years of being in Oakland. Hopefully, this is one of the domino pieces that keeps them in Oakland.
Yeah, I mean, it is so true, Brody. I mean, you're talking about this is the worst month ever in Oakland A's baseball history. But this vote, and I was saying it when I came on, was like, if it was a no vote, I mean, it's a done deal. We got no idea what happens to the organization. So people really need to know that, yes, there's still a long way to go. But if this vote wasn't a yes today, I wouldn't have known. We wouldn't be talking to you, and I wouldn't even know what to say.
Yeah, and I think that's what didn't give it the sexy factor, right? It wasn't the city of Oakland voting today, wasn't the county of Alameda voting today. It was the BCDC, and they weren't actually, Townie, to be perfectly accurate, they weren't even voting on the project. They were only voting on the 50-plus acres at Howard Terminal and whether it could basically be rezoned. To put a ballpark there instead of having seaport operations like they used to. So long story short, you're right. I mean, if this had gone away, I think a real strong realization would have been sinking in. So that's why I think it is important to recognize the victory for what it is.
So on your it's going to get done meter 1 to 10, that Howard Terminal will go. Where are you now after this vote? We don't have to sweat it. Where are you now? 10 being we're going there for opening day on 2027, 2028. On your it's going to get done meter 1 to 10, 10 the best. Where are you?
I want to give it higher. I really do. But I think the biggest vote, the biggest decision, the biggest agreement and arrangement has to happen with the city of Oakland. And it's multifaceted. There's already a lot of back and forth. There's been a public advisory vote brought up by a couple city council members that would delay and confuse a lot of people in part of this project, and quite honestly, a lot of the general public. So I'm going to answer your question with probably just a 7 right now. But I'm only trying to be reserved because today was huge. The next one is just going to be more complicated and difficult. But to be honest with you, once that is in place, then I'm ready to give you something like a 9 or more.
The things that we've seen in California, and I think it really started with the Padres and Petco Park when that project got delayed 2 years. We saw how tough it was just to build an arena in Sacramento. Then talking about what the Niners went through all those years, 80s, 90s, and then finally having to do it in Santa Clara. I mean, now with the Rams and the Chargers down in L.A., we have just learned, Warriors in San Francisco, Giants in San Francisco, we have just learned how hard it is to build in California. You guys on NBC Sports California have been doing a great job following this. Just explain to everybody just how hard it is to get everybody pulling on the same rope and to get one of these projects done.
I understand the interests of, the shipping community, and they want to protect, what has been their home for a lot of years. 1,300 acres of the Port of Oakland. We're literally discussing 50 of Howard Terminal, and it may go down to 40. There's an expanded turning basin that's going to take a bite out of the land at Howard Terminal. We're going to be down to 40 acres of about 1,300 that this ballpark and the project would use. So that's a consideration, and I understand not everybody's going to be on the same page, on board. I totally understand it, but I think what was a great analogy that was brought up today is the Warriors and Chase Center. They basically moved into land that's right next door to UCSF, a hospital, right, in South of Market area of San Francisco, and even further south of that. But the point is, there was a lot of worry, like, when you have 20,000 Warriors fans, is that going to stop an ambulance from getting to the hospital? So, I mean, that's as equal as anybody worried about, a shipping container and a truck to take it off and put it on a truck. I mean, there's a lot of concerns anywhere you go. I think, to your point, things can be overcome. They can be trusted with a lot of research. It just takes time for people to really understand and digest what's possible. It's difficult, but it's creative and it's possible when you actually dive into it.
We're going to have Dave Cavell on tomorrow. Are you guys having him on today?
It's funny. I just got a text before you called that said he will be coming on our show tonight at 6:30.
Yeah, being around it, whether you talk about Mark Bedane, the former president of the Raiders, Rick Welts, the former president of the Warriors, those guys never got close to anything in Oakland. And there's now been a lot of criticism of Dave. You've dealt a lot with Dave. We have never seen an Oakland executive all these years of the three major sports get this close. Have we ever seen, if you've grown up here, you've grown up watching it, have we ever seen an Oakland executive get anybody this close to getting a new ballpark?
I've never heard it put that way, and you're absolutely right. And part of it is, I think, the desire has always been to stay. I think the Raiders were pretty much 1.5 feet out the door, and it was like, Oakland, do you want us? Do you want us? Because we're going. And the Warriors were most certainly, bound to leave once they thought San Francisco would be a more lucrative option. And I think the A's honestly embraced, rooted in Oakland was a slogan, and I completely understand that the other talks with Las Vegas and the things that fans hear, it's discouraging. I completely understand it. But the one thing I'll say in defense of the A's as it relates to, maintaining the rooted in Oakland slogan is the amount of money that they've been spending in literally funding an EIR, funding a whole staff of people to do all this research and work with the city and work with the county and work with the BCDC. And a lot of that has gone on behind the scenes. And so people don't see it, so they don't think any hard work is actually happening here. Now, granted, the team also puts out talk about Las Vegas, and that is that they're trying to survive in their best interest. But I do, isolated from that, it really is important to see. I mean, more than talk, flat out money has been put into the efforts to try and stay here. And I don't think anything speaks louder than, the reported $2 million a month that they spend trying to stay in Oakland.
All right, I'm going to tape tonight's show. I want to know, what block are you guys going to do the breakdown of Sky Bolt being back and being in the lineup hitting 6 tonight?
I mean, normally Christian Pache talk would be a whole segment, right? Like, what do we do? Like it'd be a big thing. And Beck's on with me tonight. I don't, like, we're unfortunately going to have to gloss over him tonight, maybe more on him tomorrow. But yeah, we're going to have Dave on in our B segment, and then we're going to spend a whole C segment, the whole third segment, just discussing what happened today to try and simplify things. I know it's complicated. I know it's detailed, but I'm mostly here to try and help people understand. I watched every meeting. I've listened to as many things as I can, talk to as many people as I can. So we're here to just help educate and inform.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on is you guys have done a great job, whether yourself personally, like on Twitter, podcast, or what you've been doing on NBC Sports California, to really give A's fans the truth, because there's a lot of people out there that are stewing some stuff up that's not the truth, and there's special interest groups and money being paid to they don't want to upset the business that they've been doing for all these years. They want to keep that apple cart going, and you guys have been doing a great job just keeping everybody abreast of what's real.
I don't even know who you're talking about, Tony. I don't even know. Yes, I do.
And on the way out, we know you got to go. Cody, do you need to know who's going to be the Sharks' next GM?
Brody, do we know who it is?
Who is it, Brody?
I know it's a former player. That's all I know. That's all I've been hearing from sources.
You know, Brody. Give us the truth.
Yeah, it's going to be Curtis Brown. He's leaving the analyst role to step into something he's never done before. I have no clue, although he and I would be thrilled if it were Scott Nickel. I'm just saying that's my personal front runner, only for the sentimental aspect. So.
What if they called you and offered you the gig?
Tony, I'm not even good at broadcasting. How do you expect me to pick players?
Hey,
Come on.
You know how to skate.
Barely. I'm what they call a bender. Look that one up. It's not good.
One more, Brody. Where's Kevin Durant getting traded to?
Is he
coming back to Golden State?
He's football. Oh, no, he's basketball. I don't know, but when I hear other players are turning down $45 million of guaranteed money, I think it's an interesting NBA market right now. I don't know. I mean, is Juan Toscano-Anderson not coming back? Did I hear that too?
That's correct.
I know that's not related.
Him and Chris Chiozza are not coming back to the Warriors. Apparently,
I don't think they could. How would the Warriors afford that? I honestly don't know. They're going to get trapped in that situation again.
Yeah, well, the Durant thing's just a joke, but he is going to get traded. But I figured we're hitting on all the big things that happened today.
Well, I mean, if this is turning into an Ask Brody segment, Brody, are you now going to be a Big Ten fan with UCLA and USC in the Big Ten?
I heard, you know what, in our live chat on the YouTube stream I was doing today, everybody was telling me about Pache getting sent down and the whole Pac-10 thing or 12 thing, and it was I honestly have not focused on anything else besides a 23-2 vote. That's all I really know today.
Well, let a good broadcaster always brings it back to himself. Brody, how about San Jose State, San Diego State now into the Pac-12?
You know, I was wondering who would fill that void. I don't know. Like, how are they going to instantly compete there? What incentive would they have to do that? I'd be for it, but I think they'd be in trouble, you know?
It'd be interesting.
Our offices are right downstairs from Pac-12 Network, and, man, I would love to walk in those doors today.
Oh, can you imagine? Panic. I mean, so if when you get in there today and you hear the fire alarm, it's not the fire alarm, it's the Pac-12 panic button going off.
It might be me pulling the fire alarm because I'm drunk off champagne before I do this show. You know, I'm going to celebrate this one. I really am.
No. I mean, hey, it's good news because the vote was either good news or oh my God, or oh yeah, I can't even imagine. All right, we appreciate the time. I know we came at you real quick, but you know how much we love you. Thank you so much, and have a good broadcast.
Anytime for you guys. You know it. Talk to you soon.
The great Brody Brazil. See him 6:30. It's a 7:05 start.
7:10, I think.
7:10. So they'll start at 6:30. NBC Sports California. They've been doing a good job breaking down. Can you turn my headphones up a little bit? They've been doing a great job kind of just educating you on everything that's going on. And it's just complicated. Like, I remember Sacramento was complicated.
Yeah.
I remember Petco Park was complicated.
I mean, look at Avaya. Or, sorry, PayPal.
Is that what's called now?
PayPal Park now, yeah.
Like, Pac Bell, which now is T-Mobile, but the Giants ballpark, it was complicated, and I may be totally wrong, but I was at KMBR at the time. It was very early in my career. It just seemed complicated because it had never been done before. But I think when you look back on it, I mean, Willie Brown made it all happen. And that's been the problem for the A's. And see, I don't want to get into politics, but the A's haven't had a Willie Brown. Willie Brown had juice everywhere. He was Willie Brown. He was one of the most powerful mayors in the United States. You know, there's certain mayors who really run their show. Willie Brown had power inside City Hall. Willie Brown had power with the port. Willie Brown had power with Save the Bay. Willie Brown ran that thing and made it happen. So, and I give credit to Peter McGowan and Larry Baer and what they did, and they started a trend that obviously is very successful, and everybody does it now. And now you got to build your own ballpark. So you got to credit Peter McGowan and Larry Baer for that. It seemed hard at the time, but now that we look what other people had to do, it doesn't seem like it was that hard. But yet they were pioneers. Sacramento, man, the Kings had 1 foot out the door going to Seattle, if you remember how tough that was. Niners, when was the one vote? The one vote I want to say was in the 90s where it passed for a new stadium in San Francisco, but a lot of dead people were voting. It was a scandalous vote, and it just never was going to happen. Next thing you know, it ends up Santa Clara. Santa Clara didn't seem that hard. I don't know. Is it me or Santa Clara seemed to happen like that?
It did, and real quick, not to go off on it, but the Niners are going to have that whole area to themselves soon when Great America shuts down.
Yeah, my wife mentioned Great America is going to shut down.
It said within
years
the next,
from
yeah,
now,
like
but
it said within the next 11 years. So, I'm in my mid-40s. Great America will be probably gone.
How many years?
11. So you'll be in your
I'll be 60, and I'm probably not going to want to go upside down on a roller coaster around 60, so it won't affect me. Will not be a problem. Maybe you'll make that's a lot of land. What are they going to do with it?
I bet that's a great question. Maybe you can make it into a bigger park.
I bet the Niners are going,
Maybe they can build a Niners Hall of Fame there. I mean, don't they have one in the ballpark or the football?
I think you're thinking, I mean, what do we see around all these? Okay, first you got to build places to live, so it's condos. Then you build a little city that's got shopping, it's got restaurants, it's got bars. And what's the golf course right across the street? Horrible golf. Santa Clara.
I don't golf.
Santa Clara Valley Golf and Tennis or whatever. Dog track. I always hate that course. It's windy. It's terrible. San Jose State baseball. We used to have our alumni golf tournament out there. I hated it. They're going to get rid of that and turn that into property. I'll tell you what. I know there's been a whole fight between the Niners and Santa Clara. I don't know exactly how that's going on, but in 10 years, that whole neighborhood could look completely different. Didn't Joe Montana want to put up a hotel out there?
That sounds about right. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, no offense, we live right here, but there's nothing there besides
the convention center's there.
The Bennigan's isn't even there anymore.
Oh, the Bennigan's was great.
The only bar that was around there is gone.
Oh God,
you have to go across on the other side of 101 to get to anywhere.
Bennigan's was great. By the way, for all you Niner people, they're like, I can't get in there. It's the traffic. I'm telling you, you come right off 101. And it's Great America Parkway. Right there is Mission College. There's the church. And there's the restaurant that used to be Bennigan's. I don't even know what it's called now. You park there. Walk down. Yeah, it's a 20-minute walk. You need the exercise anyway. And then you walk out of Levi Stadium. You walk down, get in your car, and you hop on 101, and you're out of there like nothing. I don't even know why you would sit in that parking lot. And when it was Bennigan's, you could have a cocktail or two at Bennigan's before you walk down to Levi Stadium. That's what I've always laughed going, I know how to get in and out of Levi Stadium easily. Then there's the back way to get to you get off 87, the back way where NBC is. On the other side is the airport.
Go down First Street.
There's that back way to get in there too, where by through Alviso, where Topgolf is. You non-South Bay people just don't know how to get in and out of Levi Stadium. I'm not a Niner fan, and I can get in and out of that joint.
One more thing, I guess we won't be seeing at the ballpark or at the Levi Stadium anymore. Goodbye Pac-12 championship games.
Why?
Well, is that Pac-12 still conference or?
Pac-12's not going anywhere if USC and UCLA. They're still going to have a conference.
You got Oregon still.
You got USC. I mean, you got Arizona State, Washington State, Oregon State. What's Colorado going to do?
Yeah. Utah.
What's Utah going to do? Because they were a stretch. But you know what it's saying, and we're seeing it this week also in professional golf, the LIV Tour versus the PGA Tour. The LIV Tour, the new tour, has all these star players, and the PGA Tour playing the, wait for it, ask Cody. Cody, what is the tournament this week on the PGA Tour?
Is it the John Deere Classic?
It's the John Deere Classic. They got nobody playing. PGA Tour's in trouble.
Bill's here, by the way.
What does Bill know about the PGA Tour?
Very little, in fact. Far less than you.
And Bill, we all can speak. We all can speak to this. We're watching sports. We're watching how sports changes. We're watching how we view sports, how we follow sports, how we watch sports. We got games now on Apple. We got them on YouTube. We got them on Peacock. The whole world is changing around us, and all the people who hate change are like, what's going on? But it's just a reality. I mean, think about how you're coming on A's Cast Live today. 5 years ago, we didn't have this.
Well, I remember when I was a kid also, you could see one game a week, the NBC game of the week on Saturday afternoon. That was your entire broadcast schedule right there, So things are definitely a little different these days.
Yeah, I was telling Cody, I go, I just don't like all-star voting now. It's so ridiculous. People just sit on computers. Back in the day, you had to go to the ballpark. You had to punch out the names.
It was a lot of work.
The good old days, Bill. The good old days.
That's all right. We'll survive. We'll survive and adapt. We're not total dinosaurs here.
All right, so I didn't want to seem negative because my job is to be positive. But I saw very early after that first road trip that Christian Pache was lost. Yeah. He was absolutely lost. And I kept asking people as the numbers, I mean, the boat was taking on water. This thing's sinking. And I kept going, he's not ready. He's not ready. He's not competitive. It's one thing. Okay. Now when people struggle, we love to say, oh, look out. His hard hit rate. I was like, hard hit rate my ass. This guy can't hit. He's not competitive right now. And it was recently I looked in June, he was hitting 108, got a couple hits, but he ends June with a 120 average in that month, which means he's not competitive. He's finally sent down to AAA. Do you think this was the right time, or should this have been done a lot earlier?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you on this one. I mean, I definitely would have done it earlier. I mean, obviously, due to the nature of the rebuild that's going on, and the A's are not expecting to win now, they're willing to give the guys a fairly long leash in the major leagues, give them a long look. But I think, it was pretty apparent, at least after the first couple of months, that things were not getting any better. It's one thing to give a guy a chance to figure things out. But if he ain't figuring things out and he's just doing the same thing he's done, then, what's the point? I think, after a couple months, he was ready to go back down to AAA and just take a little pressure off, just take some time to readjust and figure things out. Again, he wasn't really improving at the plate. He wasn't getting any better here. So at that point, you just got to try and do something different. So I'm glad to see that they finally made that move. Like I say, hopefully it takes a little pressure off him. He can go down to Vegas, spend some time just working on things there, adapting his approach, and, hopefully getting to be at least a little closer to the hitter that he needs to be a productive major league player.
And there's nothing wrong with going down there, and it's a hitter's paradise, whether you're playing at home, on the road, desert, elevation, dry air. Get a little confidence. What's wrong with getting a little, knocking a few balls out of the ballpark, hitting a couple doubles, right, Bill? A little confidence can go a long way.
I mean, I'll remember Matt Olson came back and forth between Oakland and Nashville about half a dozen times. I mean, it's not the end of the world to go down to AAA a little bit and figure things out. And again, if the guy was figuring things out here, if he was getting a little better, even if it was just marginal, but you could see some real improvement, like, okay, let him keep figuring it out here. But he's not figuring it out here. So let him go down there, try and figure it out in a different environment. Hopefully he comes back a better, more productive player in the future.
Yeah, Nashville has become like Party Town, USA. It's where all the bachelor parties and bachelorette parties, and everybody just loves it. And I was joking with David Forrest going, Matt Olson may be the only guy that hates Nashville.
Yeah, I remember interviewing him down in Nashville when he was back down there for about the 5th time. Yeah. And, I was like, so how do you feel about taking all these flights back and forth to the West Coast? He's like, trust me, I'd rather never have to get on a plane again after I get back to Oakland. So, but, again, that one worked out all right in the end.
I hear people when they talk about young players, they talk about time. And I go, wow. I don't know many people who have a lot of time. GMs don't have a lot of time. Managers don't have a lot of time. So whenever you hear these national baseball guys, you got to have time. You got to have all these at-bats. I'm like, well, I see guys getting fired all the time. I don't know. You got to win. You don't win, you're only going to get so much time. And I look at, a lot of our young guys, and I look at all these drafts because – Matt Olson came up as a first-round pick. Matt Chapman, those guys were drafted a long time ago. I'm looking at these other organizations. They're pulling up guys 22, 23, 24. I mean, I don't think you're that young at 25, 26, especially 27. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the days of he needs 8,000 at-bats in the minor leagues before he's in the – no. We need some guys who can play. Do we have any young guys that can play?
Well, I'll tell you, most of them are, of the younger variety at this point. Obviously, probably the next closest guy to the major leagues is catcher Shea Langoliers at Vegas. He's leading the A's minor league system in home runs. He's got 13 home runs. He's taken a lot of walks. He's hitting about 270. He's playing great behind the plate, works great with pitchers. So we do have what appears to be a major league ready catcher available at AAA. Of course, last year's top draft pick, Max Muncie, only 19. He's also got 13 home runs. He's leading the A's minor league system in walks. So he's doing a great job at Stockton, but he's still just 19. Now, the previous year's first-round pick, as you well know, catcher Tyler Soderstrom, he's at Lansing. He also just hit his 13th home run last night. Hasn't been so good on the batting average this year, but he's definitely showing the power. But you may be glad to know that Tyler Soderstrom has actually spent more time at first base this season than he has at catcher. So, they still want him to have that catching ability, that catching tool. They're still going to, work with that, but they're also not putting all their eggs in that basket. He's been playing plenty of first base this year as well, which should hopefully help speed his rise to the major leagues.
Yeah, he's a prodigy kid, for God's sakes. His dad, I actually played against his dad in college, Steve. I mean, this kid grew up in the factory that they've built down there teaching guys. I mean, and I'm like, he played some short in high school. Obviously, he's an athlete. Why are we wasting our time with him at catcher? Ray Fosse would tell you all you do is get beat up. If this kid is that athletic and he can hit, find somewhere else for him to play because, Bill, it's going to be a faster way to the big leagues if you believe that Murph or Langoliers is the future. What's the fastest way for a Soderstrom to get here? It's going to be playing somewhere else.
Yeah, and there's a lot to learn as a catcher, especially coming just out of high school. I mean, he was basically, catching 17-year-olds, just a couple years ago. So there's a lot to learn to become a major league catcher. That's a long process. So, again, It's valuable if he can catch. That's a great skill to have. But, if he can play first base, that is definitely going to help get that bat to the major leagues a lot quicker. And so, they're kind of hedging their bets, doing a little of both at this point. Again, he's been showing plenty of power this year, 13 home runs at Lansing, which, isn't a big hitter's park. He's only hitting, I think, about 240 at this point, but still, he's showing that power. He's still just 20 years old. So, he could be a guy that moves along pretty quickly. I mean, I wouldn't think next year, but, maybe by 2024, he could be major league ready. And then, like I said, Max Muncie, 19-year-old at Stockton, is just right behind him there.
Does it scare you at all that when you look at these guys and you say home runs, walks, and you go, that's great. I don't like seeing 233. You're hitting 233 in A ball. You're hitting 233 or 236 or 240 in double A. Man, strikeouts, walks, home runs, the three true outcomes have done in a lot of teams lately.
Yeah, and to be honest, a lot of A's minor league hitters, fit that profile. There's a lot of them that are hitting home runs, getting walks, but the batting average isn't so high. That's the case both with Muncie and Soderstrom. Muncie's hitting around 235, I think. Soderstrom's hitting around 240. Both of them hitting home runs, taking walks. But the strikeout rates are high as well, So we got a lot of, Jack Cust potential here.
Don't say that. Oh my God!
I know you love to hear that. Yeah.
I can't live through that again.
But the good thing is when they're that young, when they're 19 or 20, and they are at least taking walks, that does show a skill that a lot of those younger guys don't have, because a lot of those younger prospects are just free swingers. They're not selective. They don't know how to look for the right pitch. And, at least if they're showing that kind of discipline early on, that is a good sign. You may have heard that one of our former top prospects, Robert Palson, was sent down from Stockton to the ACLAs. So he's back in Arizona. And, one of his problems was, striking out over 40% of the time. He certainly hasn't shown any selectivity at all. So, that's a good skill to see when guys are able to take walks at a young age and show a little plate discipline at that stage of the game.
You just thoroughly depressed me. No, I had not heard that. Robert Poisson was offered and signed for $5.1 million. Yep. 5.1. He's been around pro ball since he was 16?
Oh, younger than that.
Okay, so even younger than 16?
I mean, not pro ball, but I mean, he was being scouted by pro scouts prior to that.
How long has he been in pro ball? Since how old?
Yeah, I guess it would have been 16 or 17.
So, and he's now 19?
Yeah.
So we've given a guy that much money. He's been around pro ball that long. We've sent him back. We've sent him back to the Dominican.
Not to the Dominican, to Arizona. Arizona
to play for the Baby A's.
Yes, exactly. He's at the complex there in Arizona. So yeah, the ACLAs. He's been playing there. So I mean, that he was hitting, hitting under 200, striking out all the time. And in his second year at Stockton, I mean, he had a full season there last year. So a lot of times you expect a guy repeat a level to have learned a lot and make a lot of progress, but that didn't seem to be the case. I mean, he's got so many holes in his swing, and he's such a free swinger. He just hasn't shown any discipline. Again, he's still just, a teenager, but, if he's going to work out, it's going to be a long, process. It ain't going to happen overnight. That's for sure.
The international draft, I'm all for. I was reading an article in The Athletic about how shady a lot of this stuff is with certain guys and people who are their handlers, and, they're living with certain people. I mean, it was a very good article, and it's like, wow. Baseball really doesn't want you to know when they're going and signing certain international players, just how dirty the business is. And the international draft could change that. I don't know if it makes it better. I don't know enough about it. But what I do know is this. The problem with a guy with Robert Poisson, we'll just use him as an example, is that he's never played baseball. he's always been a tryout kid. So here he
Yeah.
was, a big, he had size, he had speed, he had power, he had whatever. And, Miguel Cabrera was this kid years ago in Venezuela, but turned out to be obviously an all-time great. But they basically just try out and they constantly just practice. They never actually play in games. So you never know at this early age, are they going to be good players? You just know they practice really well, and you offer them this crazy amount of money, and it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, I was just about to use that term. I was going to say that the international signings are a total crapshoot because it's so different from the United States, where look, kids grow up playing little league, grow up playing travel ball. I mean, they're playing competitive baseball their whole childhood, and in the Dominican, that's not the case. It's like you said, they're basically just sort of trying out and showing off. I mean, I talked to the A's assistant general manager, Dan Feinstein, at one point about this. He's very involved in the international signings. And, I'd asked him, how can you really evaluate these kids? And he really said, honestly, it's just raw tools. You're just looking at raw tools. You can't really get a sense of how they're actually going to play the game. And that's why the development time takes so much longer with these international prospects, because they really just have to learn how to play baseball. They have to learn all the things the kids who spent their life playing little league and travel ball as teenagers here have already, picked up. So, a kid coming out of high school in the United States definitely has a much more baseball experience and therefore a much higher baseball IQ than a player coming out of the Dominican who's barely played actual baseball games in their life. There's a lot more for them to learn about the game. Baseball's a very complicated sport.
One guy kept hearing his name. He's a big kid, Denzel Clark. How's he doing in Stockton, and are you buying him?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But first of all, he's not in Stockton anymore. He's in Lansing now. So he's already moved up to high A, but he was having a great season at Stockton. The great thing about Denzel Clark, by the way, he was the A's fourth round draft pick just last year, and he was having a great season at Stockton. He's got so many tools. The great thing is he's got power and speed. And you just don't see that combination so much anymore. Like, he kind of reminds me of a little mini Andre Dawson or something. He's hitting lots of home runs, hitting lots of doubles, and he's second. He's got the second most stolen bases in the A's minor league system. He's got 17 stolen bases, and he's a big guy. He's a big guy, and he's playing center field. So a guy that can play center field, has speed, can hit for power. And like I said, he was just drafted last year, was having a great season at Stockton, is, doing well at Lansing. And, if he just keeps this up, he could be a very fast riser, but he looks like a very good pick in the fourth round last year. I think he started out as well as anyone could hope.
So for our younger audience, go look up Andre Dawson, Hall of Famer. When he had good knees and he was playing for the Montreal Expos, there wasn't anything that he couldn't do, what you're talking about, Bill. He stole bases. He had a rocket arm in right field, power. I mean, he and Tim Raines, Gary Carter, those Montreal Expos were so tough. If you got a player like that, I'm excited, because that's kind of been my problem. Okay, Kyler Murray wanted to play in the NFL. You screwed that one up, right? A bunch of these first-round picks, all right, A.J. Puck, what?
Austin Beck, Lazaro Armenteros.
Here's the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I mean, the top 10 rounds, you should be producing some guys that can help you at the big league level.
Yeah, I agreed. And, like I said, the thing that excites me most about Denzel Clark, I mean, is when's the last time you've seen someone come up at the A's system who had a combination of power and speed? I mean, you just don't see that often. I mean, usually with the A's, it's guys just purely with power, like a Matt Olson or a Matt Chapman, those kind of guys, but a power speed combination, a guy who can play center field, steal bases, and hit home runs. That's a pretty rare combo in today's game. So, like I said, if this guy can keep it up, it'd be great. And you're right. Some of the recent first-round picks haven't worked out. Like I mentioned, Austin Beck, he just finally got promoted to Double-A, after many years in the A's system. And our other top international signing, Lazaro Armenteros, he's still in high A at this point. So you need some of those first round picks, those big international signings to pay off. But But if they don't, then you better hit in the second, third, fourth, fifth rounds to make things work. But hopefully Denzel Clark is one of those guys that's going to hit. At least so far, it looks like a good one. And the A's most recent 2 first-round picks so far have looked good. Tyler Soderstrom and Max Muncie. So hopefully things are moving forward on the right track in the future anyway.
Yeah, well, and then some of the kids that might be playing in the new ballpark when we ever get it, they might be in college or high school right now.
Let's hope they're in college as opposed to high school. But
we might be retired by the time.
Well, I was going to say we might be in retirement home watching it on the screen in the rec room there, but that's entirely possible.
All right, so let's take Pache out of this question. Nick Allen's now here. Let's take him out. Who's in AAA that you see that legitimately can help this team maybe the rest of this year or into next year?
Well, I'll be honest with you. For this year, there's not a whole lot. I'd say catcher Shea Langoliers is the top one. I mean, who knows? The A's were considering trading Sean Murphy last spring. It's possible they could consider trading him at the deadline. They've got a great catcher at AAA. Defensive and offensive skills. So Shea Langoliers could come up at any time this year, but I'd assume he'll certainly be here next year, one way or another. Besides that, most of the guys are here. Your friend Vimael Machin is coming back up.
Vimael Machin. Let's do this. Skybolt's back.
Your friend Skybolt is back as well. I mean, in the infield at Vegas right now, I mean, you've just got familiar names like Kevin Smith and Matt Davidson are down there. In the outfield, you've got familiar names like Louis Barrera, Billy McKinney. There's not a lot of names there that would probably excite you. And in the starting rotation, as you know, Adrian Martinez is coming back tonight. He's been striking out an average of 10 guys per 9 innings at Vegas. So that's good. The only reason his ERA looks a little inflated is because of the home runs he's been giving up at Vegas, but everyone gives up home runs.
Yeah,
that
doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. So, but in the rotation there, besides Martinez, you've got Zach Logue, Adam Aller was a starter there. Jared Koenig's back there. So those are kind of the guys that are AAA right now. And, most of the more promising guys are a little step behind that, like maybe your Zach Geloff's at AA, or your Max Schumann's at AA, or your Logan Davidson's at AA, your Brett Harris is at AA. But in terms of AAA, I'd say Shea Langoliers is the most immediate help there. And otherwise, it's a lot of familiar names you've seen and known before on the AAA Vegas roster at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Martinez. We saw him in the back half of a doubleheader. He looked good. I mean, sinker, slider, change, threw him in all counts, got a win. He's part of the Mania deal. It's like, yeah, that's great. Let's see him. Let's see how he can.
Sure.
This will excite me the rest of the way. I mean, no offense to a guy like Matt Davidson. I already know he's strikeout or home run, can't play defense. He's 31 years old. He doesn't do anything for me. So if you can give me some young players to watch, I can kind of get excited about that. By the way, looking at your backdrop, is that an Austin Powers? You got Elvis and Austin Powers?
That's an Austin Powers pinball machine behind me here. And that is Elvis in the background there as well.
Austin Powers pinball machine. Oh, I bet when people come over, they go, turn it on. Let's go.
Oh yeah, no, this is a great little item. The next time we do this, I'll have it turned on for you, and we can fire a few balls, and you can see how it works. There's a lot of great audio clips from the movie that play too, so you hear all the characters and everything as you're playing.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
You hear that plenty. There's also a little Austin Powers figurine in there that dances around when things get too shagadelic. So.
Oh, the good old days pinball. Well, keep your phone on. We're going to be calling you a lot down the stretch and keep asking, like, who can help? We need help.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a season where plenty of help will be called for. I think we all recognize that.
And seriously, thank you for everything you do for A's Cast. Your reports and what you do for us is fantastic.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Townie. I appreciate it.
All right, you be well.
You too.
Bill does a great job covering the A's minor league system for us. And all the audio he provides for A's Cast is great. And yeah, we're having the worst month in the history of the A's. What are we, 5-20? I don't know. You hid my notes from me.
Yeah, 5-20. They're trying to go 6-20. Worst record ever in the history of the Oakland Athletics franchise was in 1979 when the team went 6-24, 5-24, I think, in the month of June. So they're not going to get there this year, but get to 6-20, and I mean, you could say you won 6 games in June. Because if you keep going on this trend right now and you win 5 games a month the next 3 months, you're at 40 wins. That's worse than the 2003 Detroit Tigers. The won 43 games that year.
Okay, so I want to say this is kind of updated. You moved my notes, so I don't know. But what have we lost? 22 of 27?
Correct.
We've lost 22 of 27. What was the score yesterday?
5-3.
So we've been outscored.
I think I have it here.
Because I put that in the playbook, didn't I?
They've been outscored 145-71, so that's a minus 74 run differential. If I did it right, updating what you had in there. So yes.
Because I know this wasn't.
Yeah, because you have 140-68.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, 145-71. Minus 74 run differential.
In the lat. And didn't get beat that bad in New York.
No, they actually.
That's the thing. Yeah.
I mean, just Aaron Judge and John Carl. Like, as you said the other day, all they do is hit home runs.
Oh, no, but look at their starting rotation. Oh, look at their steal base. Okay. Mark my words. Look at everybody. Everybody, even I got to be – I don't want to call anybody out, but –
You're going to call someone out? That's how this works.
You know me too well, don't you? No offense, but
I'm going to offend you right now.
Yeah. All the Yankee gushing even on our own stuff was a little much for me. Let's just say. Oh, really? I mean, if you pay attention to everything we do, you would thought the Yankees have already won the World Series.
Wait, they haven't?
It's June. They've already won the World Series.
Well, I'm wondering.
Oh, my God, they steal bases. Oh, they play defense. Oh, their starters, their bullpen. Oh, the Aaron Judge is the greatest player. Oh, on and on and on. How many times have we done this and they haven't been to the World Series since 2009? 2009 was a long time ago.
That was
it's a long time ago.
That was 13 years ago.
It's a long time ago. And by the way,
I was 20 then.
All these other teams that don't have all this keep winning the World Series. Who won last year?
The Braves.
Did the Braves have Aaron Judge?
No.
Did they have the best pitching staff?
But they did have Freddie Freeman.
Did they have the best? Did they?
No.
Were their stats the best?
They weren't even over 500 until August.
Were the Nats the best when they won?
They were 19-31 through 50 games.
But everybody's telling me if I paid attention to anything the last 3 days, the Yankees are the greatest baseball team who's ever lived.
Yeah, not just here, it's everywhere. The Yankees are the best team that has ever played.
But our organization's saying it. It's one thing if you're in New York and you cover the team, you should do that. You should celebrate it. You should. I mean, if that was the A's, I'd be doing the same thing.
You know who's not great for them?
But I'm not a Yankee person. So why am I gushing so much? What does that do for me? I'm not. I'll tell you one guy around the A's that wasn't gushing over everything Yankees. It's this guy. My God. It was even like our own pregame show. I had to take my headset off. Oh, I was tired of hearing it.
The only guy on the Yankees that's a disappointment right now would be Joey Gallo.
Oh, we were supposed to trade for him last year too.
Yeah, he's not doing so good.
The Freddie Freeman stuff.
We'd have to get into that. If not, we'll get into it tomorrow. There's a lot there.
You know that saying, you got to let it play out?
Yeah.
It's starting to play out. You're starting to realize this was a botched negotiation that changed this man's life, not his career, his life, in such a way. And now he has to live with this decision that clearly he's not comfortable with.
Not at all.
He's crying on Sunday. Forget Friday. He's crying on Sunday. He did not want to leave this team. His agents didn't do him right. And then I now understand if you're the Dodgers, right? You're his Dodgers teammates, and you're sitting there going, bro, I get it, but you're with us now. Suck it up, Buttercup.
It's not a good look. And then what did I tell you the other day after all this stuff can come? And I said, how funny would it be if Freddie Freeman was traded back to the Braves for Matt Olson? Because that
you said that, and I went, it's Cody being Cody. Now it's like, would the Dodgers say, listen, we know this guy doesn't really want to be here, and he's 32. Matt Olson's deal is pretty cheap because you look at the length. Do you think the Dodgers would say, yeah, we'll take Matt Olson from you?
And he's
just swap him back.
And he's younger.
You can put him a lot younger.
And you can put him in that Dodgers team where he has young players.
4-year difference? 32 to 28?
Yeah.
Olson's 28. 28, yeah. Freeman's 32.
You got Bellinger's young. Mookie's still pretty young. He's 29, going to be 30. Gavin Lux is
not even 30 yet.
If not, he might.
Come on. Don't tell me that.
Mookie won't be 30 until October 7th.
Mookie's not even 30 yet.
By the way, we're calling Dave Sims, so just let you know we have him. We can talk to what's going on with the Mariners.
I want to make sure he's okay after that brawl. So Logan Gilbert, by the way, they just keep winning Logan Gilbert starts. He's 4-1 with a 2.21 ERA in his last 6 starts. Seattle has won 5 of those 6 starts. How's the fun differential going for the Mariners?
Not great, but they've won 7 of their last 9.
Yeah, but they're 35 and 41.
I thought it was 36 and 41.
Maybe
I looked at it wrong. But either way, they're still 12 and a half games out of first place.
That's something we really haven't talked much about, but it is a reality, is how many teams in the American League just don't have a chance.
I think we got into it a little bit. Well, we talked about how many teams were under 500.
No, the notes are wrong today. They are 36.
That's right. I knew I was right.
All right, well, great. You're 36 and 41.
You're still 12 and a half games out of first place. How many out of the wild card? Oh,
hey,
5.5. Better pick it up, Boston.
Do you know the A's? I haven't looked at this in a while, and wow, we're 100. We're minus 114 in run differential.
Well, it's minus 74 in the last 27.
We're minus 114.
So that's also not good.
Wow. We're 23 and a half games back, and it's not even July. What is the worst run differential in the history of baseball?
I'm sure Baltimore owns it.
I don't know. They've played this game for 150 years plus. There can be some really bad, because you got to remember back in the day when there were less teams, you had to play the good teams more often. Does that make sense?
Yes. I still think it might be. Well, let's see how bad the.
I mean, think if you were like a bad Washington Senators team or a bad Philadelphia Athletics team, and you're playing the Yankees how many times, or the Red Sox how many times, or Detroit was good, and you're just getting hammered by these teams.
Detroit's. Let's see what their run differential was. I forget where to look that on base. I'm just looking at the MLB standings. I don't know where to look on. Dave Sims is calling my cell phone. So
we'll pick it up.
Well, here, how about this? We're on the air, so I'll just text him that we'll try calling again.
All right. So you got the Red Sox, Toronto, great series. That series over, they got one more.
I think it's over.
So Blue Jays won the series at Skydome. You call it Rogers Center. I call it the Sky. Well, actually, does it have a new name?
No, it's still Rogers Center. Yeah.
I call it the Skydome. Boston's 43 and 33. Toronto's 42 and 33. And your Rays are still hanging in there at 40 and 34.
Well, they got Franco back. They're getting guys back now.
But they're all not even sniffing the Yankees.
Well, of course not. No one's sniffing the Yankees.
And then how about Tito and the Guardians with another walk-off today. I was watching that at the gym. Another walk-off today. But really, I mean, you're in the American League. It's really tough sledding with how good the East is. Do we have him? Dave, Chris Townsend with the A's. Great to have you on again.
Hey, Chris. How you doing, man?
Well, we wanted to call and just make sure you're okay after that brawl. We wanted to make sure everybody, all of our friends with the Angels and the Mariners were doing okay.
Dude, that is now so old news now. The bad news is we got to deal with suspensions when JP starts first of his 4 days starts tonight. So, that's I've already forgotten most of that. I mean, it was pretty stupid, to be honest with you. We weren't trying to hit Trout. Trout killed us, but we weren't trying to hit him. And Eric Swanson pitches at the top of the zone with his fastball.
Yeah.
Got away, went behind Trout, yada, yada, yada. John Boy, got to give credit to John Boy, man. They did a great job putting that whole piece together.
Yeah, because, for a team, you start looking at the Angels and where they are on the season and after that losing streak. I mean, Seattle, you still want to think you got a puncher's chance in this thing. And the last thing is you want to have a couple guys suspended. And I know Rodriguez is only 2 games, but this kid's absolutely electric.
No, he's the real deal. He is going to be fun to watch for a lot of years. I always say he has the enthusiasm of the 2 dudes that wore 24. It's amazing, Mr. Griffey, and number 21, Mr. Clemente. And that's those are 3 raves right there. That's big time praise for sure.
When you see him, we've every single time we've seen him, he's hitting home runs to right center, he's hitting home runs to left. Just kind of give us a scouting report on his entire game.
So you just mentioned, I mean, he does everything. He does everything at a high level. He's a fast runner. He's a base stealer, 19 out of 22. He's got a plus arm, covers gap to gap. I mean, he's got everything you could ever want. And, it's must-see TV, when he comes to play. It's real. I mean, there's no heavy thinking on this. The kid's a great player already.
And when I think about getting back into this race, because it's going to be really tough if you don't win your division, because how good the East is this year. What really needs to happen for the Mariners to get back on pace and get in this thing?
Well, we're going to start scoring some freaking runs. I mean, we are, 12th in runs per game at 3.97. Then they're going to cut it. I mean, they got to get up to at least 5. Our starting pitching the last 24, 25 games has been fabulous. But the offense is not matching that output. So I think that's the biggest thing. And, now with the suspensions coming, that'll probably last at least, it's got to last about a week, 10 days. I mean, there's guys going to get opportunities, and they're going to have to flat out hit. End of story.
Well, then the other thing that I've seen looking at you guys, you got to get better at home also.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Yeah, 17 and 19 is not going to cut it. So that's, it's freaky net. Season not over right now. So, it's the nature of baseball, and you got room for improvement. Hopefully we made a miracle run late last year. We got a little bit more time to get things tightened up here right now. So we'll see what happens.
So with the A's coming to town, and obviously our ball club is in shambles, worst month that the Oakland A's have ever had. When you look at this series, how does Seattle have to view this? Do they have to view this for sure 3 out of 4, if not a sweep?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get guys to say that, but that's the way he definitely clearly, looking at the numbers. And given the fact that the A's came in here last month and everybody was like, oh, here's 3 we're going to get, and wound up losing 2 out of 3. Yeah, that's the only way you can think. I mean, you got a team that's down. You have to I hate to say this, but you got to kick them. I've been on both ends, so that's what we're dealing with here.
Well, and you got the right guy leading off the series. Just talk about how hot Logan Gilbert has been, and when he pitches, the Mariners win.
Yeah, he's got plus stuff starting with his demeanor. He's fearless. He's a young kid. He's got good stuff. He can adjust on the fly. He and Cal Raleigh, the catcher, it's a great relationship. He gets, just a touch out of line or out of sync. Cal's able to figure it out and get him back in. So he's becoming an ace. I mean, Robbie Ray's been on fire too. Yeah, like I said, the starting pitching's been phenomenal the last 25 games. Just got to get the offense to pick it up.
Yeah, I was doing a show with Dave Stewart, and obviously Stu had been around Robbie Ray, and it was like he's got to get better. He will be better. Just what have you seen from the start? You switch teams, you come over as a free agent. Just talk about what you saw in the beginning and what you see now with Robbie Ray.
Well, the difference right now is the two-seamer, which he can sink. He can sink it into the left. In the right-handers if their back foot. That's been very effective. But he's got the fastball and the slider, and adding that third pitch. He did that a few weeks ago against Boston. Like all of a sudden, they were all over him swinging it for a second pitch. He's added that pitch in the last 27 innings. He's given up hardly any runs in front of me, but it's phenomenal. Something like, I don't know, he's got 29 strikeouts. He's given up like 3-4 hits and like 2-3 runs during that time. He's figured some things out, and he is a guy that has set a really good example for the ball club and the rest of in terms of work ethic and studying and looking at videotape and talking to the analytics boys. It's going really well.
One thing we've always talked about in Oakland is you got to force Billy Beane and David Force to be guys to go out and make moves at the deadline. You got to give them a reason to do it. Obviously, this year, everybody's going to be looking at pitching. They're going to be looking at Frankie Montas. But when you talk Jerry DiPoto up there and the Pacific Northwest, as you mentioned, you may need help offensively. Do you think that where the team is and what do they need to do to make Jerry say, yes, we're going to be players. Yes, we need to get more bats by the deadline?
I think the surprise would be if he doesn't do that. I fully expect something, at least a move to be made along those lines. We'll see what it's going to be, but he's generally been pretty aggressive and very proactive. So the story will be if he doesn't do anything.
Hey, we always appreciate the time. Be well. Have a good call tonight and enjoy this 4-game set.
You bet, man. Be well. Take care, Chris. Later.
Dave Sims of the Seattle Mariners join us here as we get you ready for a little A's and Mariners, a 4-game set. Adrian Martinez against Logan Gilbert. As I said, Logan Gilbert's been hot, 4-1 with a 2.21 ERA in his last 6 starts. Seattle's won 5 of those 6 contests. Last time the A's saw the Mariners wasn't good.
A sweep, right?
Yeah.
19-3 was the run scored to runs you were outscored by, or outscored to run scored.
Yeah, you can just say outscored.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
There you go. It is what it is.
Well, at least you can see Adrian Martinez again. It only took him, a month and a half.
What are we? We're 5-20 in June?
Correct. So make it 6-20, start July off great. But I said, if you keep trending the same way with these games you're winning, you're going to fall behind what Detroit did in 2003, and they were 43-119. You don't want to be there because, again, they're on pace to have the.
Well, where are you going to win if you don't win at home? And you started out okay on the road. Now it's like, back on the road, they can win some games. Now you're not winning on the road. You don't win at home. You don't win on the road.
The home record is, I don't know how to explain that. The 8-28 at home. I mean, that one's head scratching. I mean, even bad baseball teams and bad sports teams overall are usually not bad at home. Like, those we bring it up. I've heard you bring it up on post game. We've mentioned on here. When the Pirates were bad, they were actually decent at home. They just weren't good on the road. They can't win on the road. But they won games at home.
You got to be good somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, where the A's are the reverse splits, they're actually way better on the road than they are at home. I've never seen something like this, though. Like, I think I still have the Detroit's page up from 2003 because I never got a chance to see what their run differential, not fun differential.
Fun differential?
I don't think that was a thing then.
Scott Service, who's going to join Vince
on Ace All Access today.
Good.
The Detroit was okay. So the year Detroit lost 119 games, they were 23-58 at home. They were 20-61 on the road. Okay, so this is a team that won 43 games, lost 119 games. They were shut out 17 times that year. The A's have been shut out 9 so far. I hate to bring it up, but that's what you're pacing towards that. I mean, the worst team in Oakland A's history was 1979 when they went 54-108. The worst team under Billy Beane, I think, lost 94 games, and that was back in 2015 and 2016. I mean, you might blow by that.
But we got the BCDC vote today.
That's true.
Always bring it back to positive.
Yeah. 23-2. And
our focus is now on the Oakland City Council. On July 5th, the council will have an advisory vote on the project about the waterfront project on the November ballot. So, still some places to go. Still some votes to go. I want binding. You know what I want?
Binding votes?
Binding votes.
What's that hashtag that Casey Pratt uses all the time? Binding vote season. He's always putting that out on Twitter.
Is he?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Him and Brody have been all over this. So I'm glad we were able to get Brody on.
Yeah, it's just, I'm tired of, it's a meeting, it's a this, it's a hearing, it's a blah, 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 blah. Let's get some business going here. Let's get some binding. Let's get some people on record. Well, this vote and that vote and that hearing and that meeting. Lots of meetings, lots of hearings. I want binding votes. I want people, it's yes or no, let's go. That could be like a little saying. Yes or no, let's go.
What was the one you had earlier for me? The saying.
It was a boat race?
No. Before the show started, you said about.
Where attention goes, energy flows.
There it is, yeah. So maybe we should use that for this.
Well, we'll have Dave Cavil on tomorrow.
July 5th, it's 5 days from now. That's Tuesday.
When did we July 4th night fireworks?
Yeah.
We've never done that.
Yeah, well, we are this year with Toronto.
No. Some of us are.
What do you mean? We're probably going to do a show that day.
Some of us are doing it.
Oh.
Some of us. Because normally what I do, I got to work every year. I'm in. You know me. I work. I don't take the holidays off. I'm like Jim Harbaugh. Oh my God, did I send you that?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. When were we doing Harbaugh? I don't even know how Harbaugh got Harbaugh came up on my feed for something. And I saw the most ridiculous quote from Jim Harbaugh. It was the best. And I can find it actually because I sent this out not too long ago. Are you ready for this?
Always ready for Harbaugh.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to. We're still having. That's why if anyone's wondering why we're only using one camera on the show right now.
I don't think anyone's really caring.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm just trying to fix this because it keeps showing. When I leave this camera on with both, it keeps showing that the internet signal strength is low. But when I turn this camera off, the internet goes back to full speed. So I'm trying to figure out why. And I can't do it all. I can only do it whenever I get a chance to get up. And when there's a guest on, I can't because I have to have everything.
When's our next guest?
5:30.
All right. You know what? Here's what we're going to. I'm going to give you an opportunity to fix this. Coming up next, this might be the most ridiculous quote in the history of quotes. Am I overselling that?
I don't think so. Well, I don't know what the quote is. So
all right. Well, then you're going to have to wait. It's all coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last Dive Bar are helping us celebrate our longtime home. Last Dive Bar has the most unique merchandise for all Oakland baseball fans. T-shirts, sweatshirts, the Ray Fosse line, and my personal favorite, the lights have taken full effect. Visit their website at lastdivebar.com or follow them on social media at Last Dive Bar. All proceeds are invested back into the A's Community Fund and their affiliated charities. Go to lastdivebar.com. That's lastdivebar.com.
Some things just go together. Peanut butter and jelly, cookies and milk, Oakland and Kaiser Permanente. If that last one caught you off guard, it shouldn't, because Kaiser Permanente has been helping keep Oakland healthy since our very beginning. And as the official healthcare partner of the Oakland A's, that won't be changing anytime soon. Whatever you may need, you can trust Kaiser Permanente to help keep you feeling your best. Kaiser Permanente. Thrive. Visit kp.org today.
Coming in at 5'3", it's #1 mom. She switched to Xfinity and got the all-new 3-for-1 bundle. Unlimited internet, streaming, and Xfinity Mobile. All for what you could pay wireless companies for just one 5G unlimited line. Boom shakalaka. Go to Xfinity.com/3-for-1, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity Internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
This is Chris Townsend for the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. Great news! Our indoor dining is back, along with our beautiful patio dining. Come taste our world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 83 years. The Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek has one of the most dynamic menus, plus a full bar. Pot pies, gourmet burgers, sandwiches, salads, flatbreads, and more. Don't forget, we still do takeout and delivery. For all the information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And Ring Central's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. Ring Central. Message, video, phone, together.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Hey Ace fans, we've got a great deal for you. Get 4 tickets and parking for all Friday night games starting at just $39. Pick from great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more.
Outside corner, ring him up.
Family any Friday night this season. 4 tickets and parking starting at just $39 for the whole group. Tickets are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
Dave, you really no one's going to want to talk about the overall.
Nest Betting has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson. Nest Betting is a national brand, family-owned, priceless secure. You can shop at one of their area locations, and all stores are sanitized and safe. Or you can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbetting.com. That's nestbetting.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland, and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Betting, love where you sleep.
Innovation is at the heart of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students map genes from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Red, white, blue, and baseball too. You won't want to miss 4th of July fireworks after the A's game on July 4th.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head, and over the wall. Do you believe that?
Come see your A's take on the Toronto Blue Jays, then head down to the field to watch the post-game fireworks show. Tickets start at just $15. Find your seats at athletics.com. Don't miss the A's July 4th post-game fireworks show presented by 7-Up.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
All righty. Cody's in a panic. Panic at the disco.
It's not a bad band, actually. I don't know if you listen to them, but they're not bad.
No, I just love the name.
They have some good songs, or as the kids now say, bangers, slappers. I don't know. That's what the Gen Zers say.
They're saying slappers.
That's what they say. This song slaps. I don't know what that means, but
so
I'm not even that old.
What we need to do now is, since no one can see you anyway, you need to stand up and move that camera so they can see, because it's just going to be odd like this.
Yes. So one thing at a time. It's hard when you're doing 8 jobs at once.
Oh, God. Sound like my wife. Just do it. Everybody complains. Just make it happen. That should be another solution. I want Last Dive Bar to put a shirt together. It says, just make it happen. Nobody wants to hear why. So one of our cameras isn't working. So what do? And that's the great thing about a show like this. You just make the adjustment. See? And we're right back in business. There you go. There's the wonderful set. Now you see Ray Fosse. You see Ricky, the addition of Nolan Ryan. If you're listening on athletics.com/AceCast, you're not seeing it, but we appreciate you as also. You got the great white shark that unfortunately, I sent you that, right? The thing about the great white shark down
if we're talking about Pacific Grove, we talked about this
Pacific
on the show.
Grove.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show the other day.
20-foot great white shark attacked a guy.
Yeah, that's they judge it from the bite marks, which is insane.
20-foot. I'm scared of a 20-foot putt, let alone a 20-foot shark.
Yeah, that seems a bit large.
Do you realize how big of a shark that at 20 feet?
I'm pretty sure you said it was a great white.
It has to be a great white.
I don't know other sharks. A tiger shark? How big is a tiger shark get?
Not 20 feet.
You're the shark guy here. I'm just a sharks. Wait for it. Fan.
Wow.
So a great producer.
Jim Harbaugh said this.
Quote, thank you. Noel Ryan also on the.
So what we're going to do is, I forgot, we got to get something from Brody on here in NBC Sports California. We need to get something from every team we're playing. So if we're playing the Angels, we got what?
My wife has a batting helmet cap thing. It's kind of like it's the Ace thing, but it's the Angels.
All right.
Or I can use my pool host 500 home run.
We're playing the Mariners. What do we got?
I don't have any Mariner stuff.
I
should have an Ichiro thing. I have an Ichiro Sports Illustrated cover for when he's a rookie. How about that?
Just got to have something from each team that we play to have them up on the set.
We got Texas already. I brought you a Texas ice cream helmet cap thing as well.
I will say this. The Rangers, they got clean unis.
They do.
They've always it's red, white, and blue. How can you screw it up?
For sure. And then the other one, who are we forgetting? Oh, the Astros. Which maybe we'll get into this tomorrow because we're going to have shooting in a few minutes. The development of the Astros, me and you were talking about this yesterday after you're done with post game. I did some digging, looking at how good the Astros are. That international draft might affect them more than you think. Because they develop a lot of guys from the Dominican.
I've heard a lot of people use you tank and you get better. And I'm like, well, I've watched a lot of teams tank and stay in the tank.
Yeah, it's the Sixers, how long it took for them to get good again in basketball.
I've never bought tanking. But a lot of people say the Astros did it. How many people have said that in our industry? The Astros did it.
Well, that's usually the first one, or the Cubs did it. That's the first
Astros did it. And you're like, they've been winning now for years, and it has nothing to do with tanking. Look, you got Bregman. He's one player. All the tank drafts, Carlos Correa's gone.
They got Kyle Tucker that year, too.
Okay, God. Are you saying the reason why they won a World Series or
Tucker wasn't even on the team?
They've been to 3 World Series. They've been to 5 straight ALCSs because of Kyle Tucker. I mean, they are built not because of the Jeff Lunau tear it down, let's suck to get draft picks. That's not why they. And by the way, Bregman the last 2 years haven't been that great anyway.
He has not. And Kyle Tucker drafted the same year. Drafted 3 picks after Bregman, because if you remember, they drafted Brady Aiken the year prior, number 1 overall. He didn't sign, so the Astros got the number 2 pick from the next year, and they took Bregman, and then at pick 5, their original pick from losing 92 games, they took Kyle Tucker. So that's who they got. And Tucker didn't debut with the Astros until the year after. He didn't start playing more than 30 games until 2020 when he was 23.
And at this point, they're going to the World Series. They've been in the ALCS every year. So stop. Guys like Urquidy, Framber Valdez, these guys have nothing to do with the tanking. Nothing. All of these guys that they got rolling right now got nothing to do with tanking. Stop it. Stop. You have to take. I get callers all the time. Well, what the A's are doing. Okay. Maybe we get the number 1 pick. What's he going to be, Mark Appel, and flame out and then show up someday and somebody's bullpen and everybody gets excited? Yes, it is a great story. But still, Mark Appel is drafted with the number 1 overall pick, and now he's debuting as a Philly at 30?
30.
Yay.
If we get to it, I got a buying or selling question on him for you.
By the way, the Jim Harbaugh?
Oh, yeah. What's
for your 4th of July? I don't take vacations. I don't get sick. I don't observe major holidays. I'm a jackhammer.
One of my favorite ones he ever said was, besides when he told Tim Kawakami, it's in the Constitution, Tim, is when he said something about Abraham Lincoln coming in here with a top hat and the frock, and it was when they were playing Seattle or something, and he was talking about Abraham. I was like, how's Abraham Lincoln? What's he have to do? He has nothing to do with Thanksgiving. One
of my favorites was they put him out in front of season ticket holders when they were getting ready, they're starting to build Levi Stadium. And he had a shovel in his hand.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, the Niners, with a shovel and a sword in another hand, we're going to take over the NFL. And you're just like, this guy is a nut. I love it. I love it. I don't take vacations. I don't get sick. I don't observe major holidays. I'm a jackhammer.
Such a great quote.
But I do. I'm here every holiday for you, A's fans. What? You're working July. Are you saying we're doing it? Are we officially announcing we're doing a show on July 4th?
Let's talk tomorrow. But I think so.
See, look at that. I'm working on July 4th. I don't get July 4th.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Shooty Babbitt's going to be in the weeds somewhere. He can't even tell anybody. He's like an Army Ranger. He's going to be out in the weeds somewhere scouting on July 4th. How are you, Shooty?
Deep in the weeds, Tony. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
I don't.
A little late where I am, but it's all good.
Yeah, I do not tell people where you are. It's a secret mission every single time you go out, and all you're trying to do is find players for the green and gold.
Bottom line, trying to get better, making sure that we scout our entire earth, and make sure we're in position when it's time to strike. That's what a scout does.
When you're out on the road all these years, how much, or maybe they haven't changed that much, have players changed a lot? What have you seen?
I don't think talent changes. I don't think skill set changes. I think philosophy, approach, theology to a certain degree, but I don't, the good ones stand out. The guys that impact the game, the guys that have a skill that's playable, that impacts the game, it can't hide. When you get to a certain level, especially at the AA level and up, you've got accumulation of numbers, stats, history, reputation, all of that goes into the mix. And what are you doing right now? Can you take that to the next level? And that's the barometer here.
Yeah, talent is still talent. There's no question about that. Have you seen a level of play over the years? Maybe guys a little more experienced because of all the showcases, the travel ball, maturity, playing baseball year-round, maybe not playing football and basketball, soccer, and other sports. Have you seen a difference in the player at all in that aspect?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tony. I just feel that the guys that love the game, that have identified that they have an opportunity to play at the next level, that hasn't changed. Those guys play. They play all year long. As a scout, when I used to scout high school and college kids and younger, I would always tell kids to play all sports. Don't play baseball or one sport all year long because you don't know what you're good at or what you might like if you don't try it. And I think some sports, basketball, football, it tells you a lot, about your fortitude a little bit because you've got sports where there's some one-on-one combat. There's defense that you have to play. There are times that you have to figure out, make adjustments. I think it's all relevant. But I've always been a guy that loved the athletes. I'm the guys that can do some things that impact the game. When I was first brought into the game as a scout, it was with the Atlanta Braves, and they were big on player development. They said, you get us those guys with tools, and we'll teach them how to play. And if they come big. But I think because of the emphasis on the travel ball and the showcases, there's a lot of exposure. There's a lot of polished guys that pretty much tap out early on because they're fully grown at 15 or 16 years old because of all the weightlifting, all the supplements, the overdosage in the game, and sometimes they get burnt out. So there's a lot to go in it. You've got a lot of guys that are teaching philosophies and theories that may not have played a whole lot of baseball, but they've studied a lot, and they honestly feel that what they've learned is applicable. But, man, I just don't think there's no replacement for experience. To do it is to know, and not to be able to do it is to know how tough it is to do if you've tried. So things have changed, but the game is the same. It's 4 bases are played in a mound and 9 guys on each side going mano a mano until the last out is made.
I always like it when guys play football, as long as you can stay away from that major injury, because football is such a team game. And plus, no matter how big you are, no matter how strong you are, you're going to get your bell rung. You're going to get your ass kicked. And now you kind of find out, okay, who am I? And do I have the will to fight back? That is going to happen in football. There's a lot of will. That's why I always like people to at least experience football, some toughness. You mentioned something about heart. Now, I go to Baseball Reference. I don't find any analytics that tell you about heart, Shooty. I don't find any kind of analytic that Bill James or any of the knockoff Bill James guys came up with heart. How do I put heart into numbers when they're telling me this game is all about data? What does the data and heart say?
Well, it can't tell you, and that's why you still have guys like myself who are out there eyeballing, who are out there smelling it, out there seeing it. We're out there looking guys in the eye and seeing them in situations when the game is on the line or when a guy is shoving it up against him, and if he can make an adjustment, if he can shorten up, if he can shorten the swing up, if he can choke up, if he can stay in there and fight, extended bats until he gets an opportunity that he can put something in play. You can't, it's some of those things you can't analyze unless you see it. Some guys are better in the clutch than other guys. Some guys just really run from competition. They don't want any part of it. They're a king of the 2-out hits with nobody on base, and there are guys that want no part of that when your game is on the line with 2 outs in the game on the line.
Yeah, that is so true. It's like some guys want to be the dude, and some guys just don't.
Yes, indeed.
When you're looking right now for the Oakland Athletics, and you're looking like what is the key that you guys are looking for now? I know certain organizations look for certain characteristics in players. What are you looking for? Is there anything specific?
Well, the best thing that my boss, Dan Feinstein, told me when he blessed me and hired me, because every team has a different way of going about doing things, how they write reports, how they evaluate players. And the thing that he told me, he said, Shooty, what we brought you over here for is to help us find good players. And that was just music to my ears. I mean, don't be out there trying to figure something out or dreaming on a guy that you know don't play at the next level. Go out and find us good players. So I know how the game is played. I know what plays and what doesn't. I know what guys are going to have to go out there and give everything, give a little bit of everything. So there's a profile for each position. Even though I know guys move around a little bit now, the more athletic guys have an opportunity to hang around because they can play multiple positions. If you're a big slobbermouth guy with not a lot of athletic ability but some bat to ball, then this guy might have a chance to hit for power. But you go out, you look at those guys. You watch them in preps. You watch them in BP. You watch them in infield. You watch them for 5 or 6 games. And you find out everything, pretty much what they can and what they can't do. And that's how you get your reports together and how you evaluate a guy. But in my 28 years of experience, you could go out for 5-game series and see a guy do a few things and come back a couple of minutes later, and he might be a different player. I mean, he pretty much has the same makeup of what he is, but a lot of times he performs differently. So that's why you got to understand his tool set and what his tools play and where they play and how they will play. I mean, there's a lot of projection here at times when you're talking about 19 and 20 and 21-year-old kids. But I guess the difference today, especially with all the things that have happened over the past couple of years, is that their guys are a little older in some of the lower leagues by necessity and sometimes by lack of inventory. So sometimes you're prone to hang on to some of these guys a little longer, especially if they can do something. Like you see a guy in AA that may not have a whole lot of velo, but he can pitch a little bit. He can pitch backwards. He can maneuver through a lineup a couple of times. You take second notice of those guys because that's kind of the guy that's missing right now. It's a velo. It's a high power type game right now. And sometimes you overlook the guys that know how to miss bats, that can pitch the soft contact and get quick outs, and before you know it, you're in the sixth inning, this guy's only thrown 55 pitches. Those are the kind of guys that turn your head and that you truly don't mind hanging your hat on sometimes, because you know that guy didn't get to the level overpowering guys. He got there by being smart.
You know, one thing that you've done a great job in your career is being sent out to look at other teams' players in the minor leagues. Like, who do we want to trade for? If this trade happens at the big league level, who are the guys that we want to get from other teams? That's a completely different form of scouting. And talk us through how you go about that, where I'm now going to look at guys in AA and A ball who I want to project their futures, and also how can we make them better if they come over to us?
Well, for me as a scout, that's not my job in player development. My job is to see it, project where it's going to be. And when I see players, I don't care what their reputation is, what they win in the draft, how much money they got. I'm going to like you, okay, until you make me not, because you're a professional. It's a reason. But in order for me to put my name on you, you're going to have to make me love you. There's a lot of times I'll walk away and I say, man, I like that guy, but he just wouldn't let me love him. He couldn't execute that breaking ball in 2-strike count. He couldn't command his fastball. He seemed to be running from the bat. Even though I like the velo, I really don't like the fortitude. I'm going to go back and see this guy again. I'm going to go and talk to his pitching coach. I'm going to go talk to somebody that can give me some information about what this guy is made of. It goes to just more than sitting in the ballpark and just watching a guy play for 5 days and just going to report. You've got to do your homework. You've got to do your research. You've got to talk to people, especially if you love a guy. If I love a guy, oh, man, I might even go talk to the usher and see if he know anything about the guy, because if I put my name on him and I put a acquire on that dude, I want to make sure that I've got all my T's crossed and my I's dotted for sure.
You're like Columbo. You're a private investigator.
Well, it's hard to be a private investigator and working undercover, because most of the time I walk into the yard, there ain't but 1 or 2 soul brothers in there. So, you know, it's hard for me to hide up in there, but they know what I'm after, and I hope the players do too. So I just want to see you perform.
Who usually gives you the best info about a player?
It all depends on what info that you're looking for. Sometimes you can find a disgruntled coach. Sometimes you can sit up in the stands. It used to be great because pitchers used to sit up in the stands and chart, and they used to give it all to you. Anything that you want to know about this guy.
That's so true.
You know, and that's like Jesus Luzardo when I first met him in Midland a few years back. I got a chance to sit back with him, man. And this dude, he checked every box, man. The look, the face, the attitude, the confidence. I mean, we saw what he could do on the mound. I was one of the guys who felt that he had a chance to be Johan Santana. I really did. But you know what? I just don't think that he was mature enough to handle the situation that he was in and understood where he was in his professional career. And I think that he let that pass him by. I really do. So it takes a lot. Townie, you're going to be wrong on some guys, but you know what? You just keep on going out there until you strike gold. And that's what I'm hoping to do when I'm out here in the bushes.
You know, I think about 2 guys recently that have been topics. You know, one was for us, Zach Greinke in Kansas City. And I'm thinking, here's this guy. He's got all the money in the world. There was a lot of question about whether he loves the game. And here Greinke is still at his age, still wants to play. I applaud that. And then I think of Mark Appel, who was he was a failed number 1 first overall draft pick, never gave up and just made his debut with the Phillies. I mean, it's kind of like how long, how much heart a guy has, you just never know. But don't those kind of stories, seeing guys just want to play so bad, it's not about the money, it's just playing, doesn't that bring a smile to your face?
Oh, you're talking about a bona fide pit bull when you're talking about Greinke, man. This dude, ever since he was in high school, he had the same disposition. He just wanted to straight up embarrass you, straight up take your manhood away from you if you give him an opportunity. Competitive extraordinaire. Most of us, County, growing up playing, we didn't play for the money. We play for the love of the game. The money is just part of the game that has grown so expeditiously like it has now. is that it gets in the way of decisions made for young kids. When I was signing high school and college kids, I couldn't believe that I was getting turned down sometimes when I was going in the house with a certain amount of money, and they was going to tell me that they were going to, luck state or somewhere. And here I'm trying to give you an opportunity to fulfill your dream by playing professional baseball. And they turned their head to that. That baffled me because I was a guy that you'd have thought I got drafted in the first round when the A's called my name in the 25th round. I had signed to go to UCLA. I could care less. All my life I wanted to play professional baseball. And I don't regret one bit of, even though I know how valuable that college education would have been to me, I still wouldn't have changed one thing one bit because that's what I dreamed of. And not all of us get an opportunity to do what we've always wanted to do in life.
Man, you got to the big league, Shooty.
Hey, man, ain't no league no bigger than that, Tony. It's, the experience of playing in the big leagues. I mean, they're talking about the faith of a mustard seed. I mean, here it is right here. But I'm more proud of the association that I've had with this organization for 40-something years on the field, more off the field than on the field. And it's just the adoration and the love that has been shown my way. I would hope that it was because I was a good teammate and I was a guy that played hard and I gave the game everything that I had and I never disrespected the game or the people around me. And because there are some Hall of Fame guys, some guys that had great careers that can't get back in the game because of the way that they treated the people in the game. So I'm proud of it. I don't think the Oakland A's people know how thankful I am for the opportunity and what I'm doing right now because I wouldn't want to be in any other place. So I do not take it for granted. I'm just hoping that 23-2 vote is enough to get that stadium built down in Oakland because it's going to be a great venue and a blessing to all the people in the Bay Area.
No doubt about it. And as someone who grew up here, for you, what it would mean after all those years seeing a stadium, because you've traveled, you've seen what everybody else has. It's about time that, it's way overdue that the A's have what everybody else has.
Yeah, but I don't know if everybody else have what's inside the stadium as far as the people and the people that run it. If they told me they were going to play at the Coliseum for the next 10 years and they weren't going to move and then they would get the new stadium, I would be just as happy if they were going to build one next year because I know that they weren't leaving. But, yeah, it's time, man. I mean, you've got some stadiums, they've built 2 or 3. I think Atlanta's had 3 ever since we had 1. So, how long it's been. But, yeah, man, I'm pulling for it because the fans, man, they deserve it, man. They come to the game sometimes. They don't have all the nice things that other stadiums have, the kids, things for the kids to do, and the true things for the baseball fans. So I know the people working very hard and diligently to make this happen, and I'm praying just like everybody else that it does.
I got to ask you a question that I asked David Forrest, and I'm really curious to see what your answer is going to be. Now that kids are starting to do what they did in football, where they said before the draft, and these kids were college kids, and they're like, hey, we're not going to play in the bowl game because we don't want to get hurt. We're now starting to see that in the Major League Baseball draft, where you're seeing kids who say, I'm not going to finish out playing high school baseball, and I'm sure we're now going to see this in college. How do you, as a scout, if a kid says, I don't want to finish out the year because I just want to protect myself heading into the draft, how do you feel about that?
If it's a guy that's a can't-miss guy that everybody is ranking as one of the, if not the top player in the country, top 5 players, and he's really close to being a major league player, I can understand because you're taking a chance on your future. But if you're just a average guy, a better than average guy that has a chance, I would say congratulations. I respect that, and I'm going to move on to the next guy because I want guys that want to play. I want guys that love it, that dream it, that have nightmares and not get an opportunity to go and play, and they would do anything to get the opportunity because when you get that opportunity, you're going to do everything you can to prove to the people that gave you that opportunity that they didn't make a mistake. Because your name is going to be their name is going to be on your back until you finish playing. So there's a lot of people giving kids advice, and I don't know if it's always for the well-being of the kid. If it's to say, hey, I'm going to college and I'll play professional baseball later, I respect that also because your chances of getting to the big leagues are very, very slim. So with that guaranteed education in your pocket, at least you have that. But if you're a guy that's not going to college, you don't know if you're ever going to get another chance to play, man, I'm going on to the next guy.
Well, I'll just say this, and I might sound like get off my lawn old guy, but I'm starting to notice I think baseball and golf are very similar. Both are my passions. But we got a lot of guys who love practicing and coming up with these numbers on things like TrackMan while practicing, and they like doing that than actually they like it better than playing the games. Like they want to tell you spin rates. They want to tell you how far they hit it. They want to tell you all these numbers, how hard they throw. And you see a lot of this because the technology, the way we're judging human beings now in golf and baseball are actually very, very similar. And I'm afraid, Shooty, guys like working out and being in the batting cage and like throwing off mounds and having all these and all this data, I think they like doing that more than they actually like competing in regular games.
No, I mean, those guys will eventually weed themselves out because the game is not going to change, Tony. And there's a place for innovation in this game, just like analytics. I'm like Dusty Baker. He said, I'm fine with analytics as long as they tell me or show me how to get better. Don't tell me, show me how it works. Now you got my ear. So this game has been around for 100 and something years. I find it very difficult but you come up with something new that haven't been said or haven't been told, maybe a different language, that it all means the same thing.
I don't want a pitcher going, yeah, my spin rate's this, but yet they got a 4.5 ERA or higher. I know this has happened at the big league level. Guys worried about certain things versus actual, like, what's your ERA?
Well, you don't have to worry about it if that spin rate on that breaking ball is good. Them Louisvilles will let you know. I mean, the guys going back to the dugout, or you see some Louisvilles running up to the plate, swole all up, you know you better throw something else because that spin ain't enough. That's for sure.
When you getting back in town?
I can't tell you.
Well, I can't make a tea time unless I know when you get back in town.
End of September, when baseball season is over.
Yeah, I'm ready to get it going with you. I mean, you big league guys, you look down on little guys like me. So I'm ready. I'm going to be ready for you, Shooty.
Hey, this off season we gonna have a blast, Tony. Believe it. I can't wait. Right now, I'm all about games and reports, homie.
You be safe out there, out in the bushes. Be well, and we'll talk to you when you get back.
Will do, Tony. Thanks for having me, my man.
The great Shooty Babbitt. You know what? That was just questions about his craft. That was awesome.
Yeah, we didn't ask about any specific players or anything like that. We just asked about what he's.
I'm gonna text him that too. That was awesome. I mean, that's what these guys do. I mean, their job is to find the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's on the road all year long, except for when he's in studio doing NBC. That's about it.
In those nice suits,
he does dress very well. Then I see you on there hosting, and I'm like, so they really went from Shooty and Brody to.
Wait, you saying my suits don't match up?
That's not that they don't match up. I don't know. I'm just maybe it's because I'm not a big suit guy.
I'm now offended. I have very nice, expensive suits.
Every time I see you on there, they tell you every time you're on there, yeah, you're wearing a polo.
Well, because
welcome to 2022.
No, it's I can really only do day games because that's when we don't do Ace Cast Live is weekend and day games. So when I fill in for Brody, I'm usually doing a weekday day game or I'm doing a weekend game. And what do they wear on weekends and day games? They wear casual.
Yeah, polos and Lululemon or whatever.
So I just got to call them and go, listen, I don't have a bunch of NBC Sports California polos.
Well, they should give you some.
I've got a ton of A's polos. I've got my – hey, is Last Dive Bar selling these?
I don't know if they're selling them. Brian sent us those a couple of years ago.
We got to put those out.
Well, Rayfield James already texted me and said he would love to have one.
Yeah. Last Dive Bar, our sponsor, is the best.
If you're watching, you'll see the banner run right now promoting Last Dive Bar. So if you want to check out their website, lastdivebar.com. I usually wear one of their shirts for the show today. I'm actually wearing my pitching Ninja A's shirt. It was either that or my I do have the Rally Possum shirt. Maybe I'll have to wear that eventually. I always wear where was that yesterday? I went bowling for one of my wife's friends' birthday last night.
Oh, you're bowling yesterday?
Bolero last night.
Oh, that's awesome.
8 p.m. we went.
Oh, you went bowling.
8 p.m.
Oh,
The game was over 6 hours prior.
Someone said work.
I wore my Hal's My Pal shirt that Hal, the hot dog vendor, personally autographed at the Giants-Dodgers playoff game because he was working.
He does the what games?
During the playoffs, Hal was working the Giants-Dodgers playoff game at Oracle Park, and I was there with my wife because she apparently is a Dodgers fan when the Angels aren't good.
Oh, he's Johnny Oakland is over at the Dodgers-Giants game?
He's working. So, I mean.
Oh, he's working. Well, according to everything, doesn't he buy all of his own stuff? He's like an independent contractor.
I don't know Hal's inner workings, but he signed my shirt. That's all I care about.
I've never met Hal, the hot dog guy.
Actually, tomorrow I'm going to wear the shirt my wife got me she got me the City Connect Colorado Rockies shirt.
I like hot dogs. I'd be willing to go down and talk to Hal, the hot dog guy.
He wants me on Ace Cast. Maybe we'll have to get him. Maybe we'll have him video.
I would come out of the treehouse and see him, but we haven't been in the treehouse in 2 years.
2019. This is now the third year we wouldn't be up there. 2020 obviously didn't do it last year, and we haven't done it this year. So 3 seasons now. 2019.
We were there in 2019?
Correct.
We haven't been in the treehouse since 2020. People ask all the time, when you come back to the treehouse? I'm like, I do it.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't want to be out there.
Yeah. I mean,
it's better than being in the press box.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, you talk about hot dogs. Don't eat those.
The exploding remember they used to be exploding?
What was that bet you guys had a couple years ago? Who could eat I got on I joined late, but who would eat the
nobody's here that was a part of the bet, but the bet was who could go the longest without having a press box hot dog.
Oh yeah, our intern, not Griffin, our other intern Michael. One day I was walking up there and I saw him. He was eating. I'm like, "You're eating the hot dogs?" Like, oh man, they might have changed since 2019, but I'm gonna say probably not.
It's a different system. So what they've done for all these years is the super cheap media people would wait. And they had the rollers, and they'd bring the hot dogs. And I know who it is. He would turn it up because he liked he'd like his hot dog to get a nice crisp. Problem was the ones that stayed on there would like explode, and it was disgusting. And I would always take pictures of the exploding hot dogs and send them to people. And because I actually won the bet. I'm like, I can go a whole season without having one.
Well.
But
you're still going strong.
Yeah, I have not had a press box hot dog since you'd probably have to go back to like 17, 16, right around in there. And that was out of just a necessity of hadn't eaten, got to get something in you.
Yeah.
Because I would go down and buy something, for God's sakes, before I'd eat one of those.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Can I ask you before we end the show today, can I ask you one buying or selling question?
I would love it.
Because I'm not gonna play the open and all that. But I'll ask you the question. And you mentioned him earlier. Mark Appel finally made his MLB debut last night for the Phillies. He pitched a scoreless ninth. He allowed 1 hit and struck out 1. At 30 years old and 349 days, so almost 31. Appel, he became the oldest former top overall pick from the June draft since Rick Monday was the first pick in 1965.
Wait, he gave him what?
He became the first. He's the oldest former top overall pick from the draft at the time of his debut. That's going all the way back to Rick Monday in 1965.
Oh, yeah, of course. He's 31, 30?
30. He'll be 31 in like a week, 2 weeks.
You're the number 1 overall pick, and he'll make it to the big leagues until you're 30?
And whenever he stepped away from baseball, there's a lot of stuff. He was 5-0 with a 1.61 ERA in 19 appearances for Lehigh Valley, the AAA team of the Philadelphia Phillies. Buying or selling, Mark Appel is the closer the Phillies have been looking for. Because remember how bad their bullpen is?
Wow, what a story that would be. That would be incredible. I'm buying. This has got Disney written all over it. Think about this. Just think about it. You've got a guy who's completely failed when he had all the expectations, every chance, just fails, gets back into the game just because the love of it. And did he graduate from Stanford?
He might have left her. He was drafted by the Pirates, went back, and then got drafted by Houston, #1 overall. So I don't.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a good chance he went back and finished.
He might have. I don't know.
We got to look. So that I'm trying to build up the movie here. So gets a Stanford degree. So it's not like he needs baseball, right? He's probably got a pretty good signing bonus, Stanford degree, and then comes back to a team in a world where a bullpen can't get anybody out. It's my movie trailer voice.
Yeah, I got it.
And leads the Philadelphia Phillies bullpen to the World Series and wins the World Series.
Okay, I love the idea. I'm just talking about being the closer.
Yeah.
Being competent. No, they're not.
World Series. The Fightin' Phils. They haven't won the World Series since 80?
Wrong. 2008. They made the playoffs in 2011.
Oh, Ryan Howard, Nutley, and those guys.
My beloved Pirates have been to the playoffs more recently.
They haven't won since 2008.
Yeah, when they beat the
and
Rays.
This guy comes out of nowhere and leads them to the World Series. What if he's starting Game 7?
Well, if he's starting, he's a closer. Well, let's do an opener.
What if he's starting Game 7?
Maybe he could. It'd be great.
What did you wait? Listen to what he just said. Yeah, he's a closer. What was his record again at AAA?
5-0.
Was that as a closer?
Well, it was 19 appearances, so it was as a reliever.
How many innings was he going?
Let's pull up the old AAA stats for
Mr. Know-It-All. He's a closer, huh? I don't think your 5-0 is just a closer. As it just tell me, there any game started in there? What is in there?
He also went to Monte Vista High School in Danville.
Monte Vista,
sorry.
Not Monte. These not local.
He pitched in 5 games. He started.
He
won 5 games. He didn't start any games in the minor leagues this year. He was a reliever only. 19 games.
How many innings?
28. Struck out 24.
So he was a multiple inning guy. Starting Game 7 of the World Series.
Sergio Romo 2.0.
Disneyland. Oh, he's going 6-7 innings.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Ryan Stanek, our good friend, who is actually one of the best.
Not going to be an opener. He's going to go out there as a starter. He's going to go out there and start.
Are you saying Dennis Quaid move over? The rookie 2 film 20 years later is coming out.
I see the movie right now. I'm buying it all.
Can we get it on Disney Plus? Or will it be in theaters?
I mean, you can throw in some Disney princesses in there. You can do whatever you want. Now Star Wars, you can throw some Star Wars in there. I mean, Disney also has who are the superheroes? Marvel, throw some put Spider-Man in there. I mean, we could make a great movie here.
Hold on, I'm trying to think of how Spider-Man and all these guys would play into it.
Well, you do the time as he was a kid, like Spider-Man was his hero.
We're getting close to end time here because of pregame. But I don't remember what Mark Capel looks like. I'm trying to see who could play him in a movie.
I mean, now that Disney bought Star Wars for billions of dollars, you got to work Star Wars in there somehow.
He kind of looks.
I better turn on my radio equipment.
I'm not sure who will play him in a movie. I'm trying to figure out who. This picture right here, I would say Freddie Prinze Jr. could play him, but that's when he has the beard a little bit.
Well, we need some star power.
Freddie Prinze Jr. was in a baseball movie called Summer Catch.
Got to bring some star power.
Yeah, well, we'll find someone. I mean, I don't know if you're going to get Brad Pitt to play him, but
Brad Pitt's Billy Bean.
That's what I mean. Maybe get my guy Miles Teller. I'm a big Miles Teller fan. Maybe have him play Mark Capel in the movie. He's in Top Gun.
It's a great story. But a great story is the vote today. BCDC. How many people had ever even heard of the BCDC before all this was going down?
Couldn't tell you. I don't know. I didn't. Did you?
Why would I know anything about the port?
We live in San Jose. We don't have a port.
Yeah,
the closest port to us is Redwood City.
I grew up in San Diego too. There's a port there. I didn't hang out there. And nor do I have any idea what was shipped in or shipped out. Like, how do you know? And by the way, when everybody talks about the port, the majority, like how much, see, we get into stuff that is not what we should be getting. Here's a question. Out of all the stuff that comes into Oakland, into the port, how much stays in Oakland?
I don't know.
Oh, like none of it. It all gets shipped out all over the West Coast and all over the Midwest.
You're asking literally where the
I mean, we act like, yeah. Everything that comes into Long Beach, everything that comes into LA, everything that comes into that all gets shipped out. Everything that comes into Seattle, everything that gets shipped out to the United States. So it's like, yeah, the ports are key, but it's not like it's like the local thing that is. This stuff's all going out everywhere.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff.
I think I would love to have everybody break down exactly how does everybody profit off these ports? Who exactly? How much do the cities, counties, who's getting what out of these mysterious ports with their mysterious rules? And they have this land, the ports control there. Why are they wouldn't you be interested in that as a taxpayer? Exactly what is going on at these ports?
Look,
you know who controlled the ports in New York for all those years?
The mob.
Yeah. How do you like about that, taxpayers? The mob was making all the money off the ports back in the day.
Real quick, the only port I care about, the Stockton ports.
Oh, wow.
And I always bring it back to baseball.
Wow. Oh, we got to end it on that.
And shout out to Alex Jensen.
Alex is on the naughty list right now. Alex is out there talking. They're out praising everybody. Melissa Lockhart's doing a story, how we're using all the minor league guys, and they're talking about, hey, thank God for Ken Korak and Vince Catroni on the minor league guys.
I have nothing to do with this. This is all you.
Well, hey, all the minor league, nothing A's Cast ever did to help these guys. Because they all got to the big league level first. They all just hopped over A's Cast. Is that true?
I don't know. The only guy we can really equate that to
you don't even want to touch it.
It's all the person we equate that to is Alex.
Oh, you don't want to touch it. Did Jesse Goldberg Strassler appear on A's Cast or a play-by-play for the A's first?
Technically, A's Cast because we had him on for the game. All right, we got to go.
In his career.
That's
Bob Hards appear on A's Cast first or the A's radio network?
I think we carried a Midland game before, so I think he was on A's Cast first.
Didn't they all do reports for us?
Oh, in the pregame, yeah. Okay, we got 3 minutes.
Just checking. I'm just having a good time. Thank you for everybody who listened today. Yes, BCDC went the A's way. That's great. We want to thank Shooty Babbitt, Dave Sims, and Bill Moriarty.
Whoa, Brody.
Oh, and Brody Brazil wasn't on the schedule. Brody Brazil, who led us off here, like Ricky Anderson, doing a great job, giving us an update on the vote. And tomorrow,
Dave Cavill and the skipper, Mark Hotze, so far.
We'll see everybody tomorrow. A's Total Access coming your way in minutes.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last Dive Bar